Hello students, now we are going to discuss some important topics in 4th lesson electromagnetic induction and alternating current. First, let us discuss about the introduction. In the previous chapter, we have learned that whenever an electric current flows through a conductor, it produces a magnetic field around it. This was discovered by Christian Oystead. Later, Ampere proved that a current carrying loop behaves like a Bohr magnet. These are the magnetic effects produced by the electric current. Physicists then began to think of the converse effect. Is it possible to produce an electric current with the help of a magnetic field? A series of experiments were conducted to establish the converse effect. These experiments were done by Michael Faraday of UK and Joseph Henry of USA, almost simultaneously and independently. These attempts became successful and led to the discovery of the phenomenon called electromagnetic induction. Michael Faraday is credited with the discovery of electromagnetic induction in 1831. Next, definition for magnetic flux. The magnetic flux through an area capital A in a magnetic field is defined as the number of magnetic field lines passing through that area normally. The magnetic flux is indicated by the notation phi b, which is equal to integral b vector dot dA vector. Since it is a dot product, it can be written as BA cos theta. Here the angle theta indicates the angle between the magnetic field B vector and the unit vector n cap. Look at the first picture. If the unit vector n cap and the magnetic field B vector are in the same direction, in that case theta becomes 0. Look at the second picture. If theta becomes 0, cos 0 degree will become 1. So that the magnetic flux will be maximum, which is equal to B into A. The SI unit of magnetic flux is Tesla meter square or Weber. Next, the definition for electromagnetic induction. Whenever the magnetic flux linked with a closed coil changes, an EMF is induced and hence an electric current flows through the circuit. This EMF is called induced EMF and the current is called induced current. This phenomenon is called electromagnetic induction. Next one is about Faraday's experiments on electromagnetic induction. First, let us discuss about the first experiment. Let us consider a closed circuit consisting of a coil C of insulated wire and a galvanometer G, which is shown in figure. Since there is no motion of the Bohr magnet, the galvanometer does not indicate any deflections as there is no electric current in the circuit. When a Bohr magnet is inserted into the stationary coil with its north pole facing the coil, there will be the deflection in the galvanometer. This indicates that the electric current is set up in the coil. If the magnet is kept stationary inside the coil, the galvanometer does not indicate the deflection. Look at the picture. Now the Bohr magnet is withdrawn from the coil. The galvanometer again gives a deflection but in the opposite direction, so that the electric current flows in an opposite direction. When the Bohr magnet is moved faster, it gives a larger deflection. Due to this, there will be a greater current into the circuit. Now the Bohr magnet is reversed such that the south pole now faces the coil. When the above experiment is repeated, the deflections are opposite to that obtained in the case of north pole. From the first experiment, we can conclude that whether the magnet is kept at stationary or moving towards or away from the coil, similar results will be obtained. It is concluded that whenever there is a relative motion between the coil and the magnet, there will be the deflection in the galvanometer, which indicates the electric current set up in the coil. Next, let us discuss about the second experiment. Consider two closed circuits as shown in figure. The circuit consisting of a coil capital P, a battery capital B, and a key capital K is called as a primary circuit, while the circuit with the coil capital S and the galvanometer capital G is known as the secondary circuit. The coils P and S are kept at rest in close proximity with respect to one another. If the primary circuit is closed, the electric current starts flowing in the primary circuit. At that time, the galvanometer gives a deflection. After that, when the electric current reaches a certain steady value, there will be no deflection in the galvanometer. Likewise, if the primary circuit is broken, the electric current starts decreasing and there is again a sudden deflection, but it is in an opposite direction. When the electric current becomes zero, the galvanometer shows no deflection. Hence, we can conclude that whenever the electric current in the primary circuit changes, the galvanometer shows a deflection. Next, Faraday's law for electromagnetic induction. Whenever the magnetic flux linked with the closed coil changes, an EMF, which is nothing but the electromotive force, is induced and hence an electric current flows in the circuit. This current is called an induced current and the EMF giving rise to such current is called an induced EMF. This phenomenon is known as electromagnetic induction. Once again I repeat, whenever the magnetic flux linked with the closed coil changes, an EMF is induced and hence an electric current flows in the circuit. This current is called an induced current and the EMF giving rise to such current is called an induced EMF. This phenomenon is known as electromagnetic induction. Look at this picture. When the bar magnet and coil approach each other, the magnetic flux linked with the coil increases. This increase in magnetic flux induces an EMF and hence the electric current flows in the circuit in one direction. At the same time, when they move away from one another, the magnetic flux linked with the coil decreases. This decrease in magnetic flux again induces an EMF in opposite direction and hence an electric current flows in an opposite direction. So there is a deflection in the galvanometer when there is a relative motion between the coil and the magnet. From the figure, it is understood that when the primary circuit is open, no electric current flows in it. Hence, the magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil is said to be zero. So, there is no deflection in the galvanometer. When the primary circuit is closed, the increasing current builds up the magnetic field around the primary coil. Therefore, the magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil increases. This increasing flux will induce an electric current in the secondary coil, which is indicated by the deflection of the galvanometer. Similarly, when the primary circuit is broken, the decreasing primary current will induce an electric current in the secondary coil but in the opposite direction. So, there is a deflection in the galvanometer whenever there is a change in the primary current in the primary circuit. The conclusions of Faraday's experiment are stated as two laws. According to first law, whenever the magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit changes, an EMF is induced in the circuit. According to the second law, the magnitude of the induced EMF in the closed circuit is equal to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the circuit. The equations for Faraday's first law and second law can be written as follows. If the magnetic flux linked with the coil changes by d phi b in a time dt, then the induced EMF can be written as epsilon is equal to minus d phi b by dt. If a coil consisting of n number of turns is tightly wound such that each turn covers the same area, then the flux through each turn will be same. Then the total EMF induced in the coil can be written as epsilon is equal to minus n into d phi b by dt, which can be written as minus d of n phi b by dt. Thank you students. Leave your doubts in the comment box.